As an energy worker, any energy worker, we see, hear, and interpret things that are not discernible by our physical sensing system. It's energy, but it's just not discerned by our five senses. So some people, a lot of people call it Pollyanna or make believe or imagination or not worth anything. But it is part of our breath. And just as we can't feel the breath when it comes in through our nostrils and through our mouth, we know there's breath. Out here is energy, it's spiritual realm, it's the unseen. Not better or worse, it's just a different frequency, a way of interpreting energy. So as an energy worker, I've spent 30 plus years seeing things that most people don't see with their physical eyes, hear with their ears, touch with their hands. And by making adjustments in those vibrational spaces, the energy that comes into life, like the breath, is different. Life changes. That's why changing energy is powerful. It causes physical to change. To me, that is where it all begins. It all begins in energy, in the unseen. And if we don't change the unseen, what shows up in physical remains. So it's like the seeds of what is showing up in a life are planted in the unseen, in energy, unseen energy. And we keep trimming the bushes, plucking the fruit, throwing it away from the tree itself of the situation, and wonder why the tree doesn't go away, why the fruit keeps coming. It's because we've forgotten and actually been dumbed down intentionally to forget that the seeds of what happens and shows up in the physical are in the unseen worlds of energy, power of energy. And so continuing the power of the unseen is that's where the seeds lie. That's where the cause is. So I was working with a client many years ago, maybe about 5 years ago. And she came to me, she was very academic, very accomplished. Her life, however, wasn't working well. And somehow she found me and didn't know if she really could work with me or not, because the energy in the unseen wasn't her area of expertise. So she said, you have to understand, but she was very intuitive, kind of like psychic. She says, you have to understand there's only so many things I can change, because my energy, it's like I'm a queen in some region. I know that, I don't understand it, but because I'm the queen in some area, some region, I have to maintain certain constructs. And so my life kind of has to be what it is, I think. Well, I said, well, let's look into that. And so I helped her going through some processes that I have to look at, to go within and to see where that storyline took her. Where was she the queen? What was really going on? So that she could interpret energy with a little bit of help. And I just remember how shocked, she was just shocked. She said, I'm not a queen, I'm the slave. So it's like, I've been put on the throne to keep the minions at bay for somebody else. I am the front person. And I've been told I'm special, I'm the queen. But the truth is I was being used. It was astonishing to watch her come awake to that idea. And I have found consistently since then, any place there is a concept that tells you you are special, you are the one, you have to do XYZ because you are special. We see it in cults, we see it in religions, we see it in many places where you are special. You are the one. But what your presence is doing is keeping the masses content to be the masses to be used. Which takes me to the Harry and Meghan. There are concepts and ideas that come from our true nature of good. We souls from star beings, star systems, here in bodysuits, which is everyone pretty much, have at our core agendas to do good, to be good, to share love, to be generous, to be helpful. And it confuses us totally when we're plopped into these cultures of domination that the earth has become. They are not by divine design. They are by design of those whose agendas are to dominate, control, to use, to be parasitic, take advantage of the light and the vibrancy of good in order for them to live. So here we are in this world that's contaminated with toxic concepts, as well as filled with loving, generous concepts. We have both. We must understand that good, that which expands life, good, coming from good, is here. We see it around us. Sometimes we don't see it until survival kicks in because it's been so covered up. Good exists here because that's the nature of the soul. Also, constriction exists. Domination, violence, take advantage of, pedophilia, rape, war exists because there are those who use the law of put in an idea, magnify the idea, and the idea manifests. But their ideas come from their agenda to dominate. So both exists here. That which is great and expands life, and that which just would destroy life, suck you dry, take you down into disease, lack, poverty, homelessness. They both exist here. This comes from what I call light. This comes from non-light. So you can ask an idea that comes through, a situation that pops up. Hey, idea. Hey, situation, energy. Are you of light? 3 times. Are you of light? Are you of light? If it is no, oh, maybe, or no answer, it's not of light. It's coming from those ideas broadcast into our space intentionally to entrap. Deep 6. Remove. Deep 6. What does that have to do with Harry and Meghan? So what a Gemini does, and I'm not Gemini, but I do have a lot of Gemini in my astrological chart, is gather information. They are gatherers of information. And then those information pieces come together in totally new ways. It doesn't go like A, B, C. Sometimes it goes A, D, F, O, and oh my gosh, the idea comes together, and it is a groundbreaking idea. So here we have the concept that says good, agendas for good exists, agendas for control, domination, both exist, and they show up and you can feel them. They're different. One feels expansive, one is constrictive. You can feel that. There is an idea or concept coming into our energy field, into our breath field. When an idea comes into our breath field, its very vibration, its song begins to impact that field, and pretty soon it becomes form. Energy's a wave, and then it's a form. And the idea that says you are the queen, or you are the king, or you are special, has come consistently for thousands and thousands and thousands of years from those whose agenda is to control and use the masses. So we have a matriarch, or we have a monarchy put in place that this family's divine from God, it's put in place by God. What God? God that controls. And everybody bows down, and the monarchy bows down, and we worship the monarchy. But it's all designed so that when there is a word that goes out, the vibration into the masses is about, give us your money and give us your work and give us your firstborn. And the masses go, okay, because I am special. That exists, and it's totally control, domination created intentionally to control the masses. And if you go against that concept, if you stand up as a whistleblower against that concept, the masses rise up not to awaken, but to destroy the whistleblower. It's gone on for centuries. See what it has to do with Harry and Meghan? Now I'm been given galactic history of our star families as they traveled through what we call space, Laniakea superclusters, all of that from their beginning individualization as a group. So different galactic families, of which there are 7 on this planet. And in that history, those with agendas of the control domination entered into those worlds. We have been controlled, we have been made the slave way before Earth. Slavery did not start 5,000 years ago. Patriarchy didn't start, 3,000 years ago. No, it was with us, within our field. And that's why we have Earth. That's why we created Earth. It's a mission. And the mission is to identify, neutralize, and remove any trace of domination, agendas, influences, forms, beings, and have them removed back to where they began life, out of our field, clearing our space. It's everything to do with Harry and Meghan. So on that galactic landscape platform, Earth mission has an extremely important role to play to hopefully save our life so we don't do another apocalypse. The thing that will prevent us from going into an apocalypse is the activization and fulfillment of Earth's mission to identify and remove outsiders. Outsiders, parasitic by nature, will always cause a demise of their host. Always. That's us. That's us. We starving souls in physical bodysuits are not the cancer on this planet. It's the outsiders who are, and they do exist. So what does that have to do, Harry and Meghan? The role that a soul in a female body was to play was to be the whistleblower, to so design, take their life in their hands, design the life, what it was going to be like, how they were going to eat and home and create family, etc. That was the female's first, second. First was within sisterhood being together, movement together as women, and then each designed their own life so they were self-sufficient, self-responsible, collective in a group. And then because they had designed from good, they knew good, they tasted good, they would know what was not good, what was constricting, call it for what it was, and have it removed. And the soul in the male bodysuit was to stand, hold the space for her activities, put in resources, energy, money, so she can do what she needed to do, have her back and listen to her whistle blow. And when she would whistle blow and say, wait, we're going to move that one out. Listen to her, hold space while beings of light came in. This is her authority into the heavens. She can call in all the help of the heavens, not the United States to save the world, the galactic heavens to save the world. And she would call in and say, not in my world. You're beginning to see Megan and Harry here. So once a woman, was a soul in a female body, had landed on the planet, danced a bit, been connected with other women, young and old, built her life, knew what she wanted to do. The world is her oyster. She's feeling confident. Then she has the sensitivity to know what doesn't serve her and what isn't in alignment to her expansion, which is expansion for good. And she names it such, and those in her world hear her, support her. And she says, no longer mine, move to another place of being. But she goes in and she is willing to experience the new in order to discern. And she did that. Megan did that. And she discerned what she felt was constriction. I don't care what name you put to it. She felt constriction. She felt off. She felt a different kind of energy than the support she had known and come to embrace, that allowed her life to expand. So when she sensed that, she knew she could not stay in it. And the role of a soul in male body is to hear that. It's like the canary in the mine. When the canary starts to die, the miners don't ignore the canary and say, oh, you're not strong enough. No, they get out of the mine. And that's what Harry did. He made sure that his family got out of the mine, got out of that minefield that we call special. Because they felt, and within that construct of special, there was something not of light. Doesn't mean it's all bad. It means there's something not of light. And when they called it out, the construct, the culture of special didn't pay attention because it was committed to being what it was, which is special, keeping the masses at bay. So do I support Carrie and Megan? Absolutely. A great model for all of us. And we see that what happened to them, continues to happen to them, being attacked for being honestly aligned to Earth mission, calling out. I want to give a shout out for a book you may be interested in, called, written by Napoleon Hill. You may know Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill wrote a lot about the power of making a difference in your life, and wrote about those who had made differences in their life to encourage people. Napoleon Hill. He wrote a manuscript based on information that he had in conversation with a being in the unseen world that he labeled the devil. And he labeled it the devil because the agenda that this energy field spoke of was of constriction and control and non-caring of humanity. So he called it the devil. I call it the outsider energy. So if you're interested, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil. His wife, when she read it, said, "You will not publish this in my lifetime." And it was not published. This was in 38 or so. When the foundation was passed on into the family because both he and his wife had died. Cousin found the manuscript, had his wife read it, and his wife said, "You will not publish this in my lifetime." They didn't. So it was only about maybe 4 or 5 years ago that the next group of the foundation leaders found the manuscript and said, "This has to be published so people know." And so Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, talking of the outsiders, their agenda spoken clearly, because also to the fact that anyone who tries to expose them will be crushed because they have so brainwashed the masses. Lots to learn. Claim your presence is a presence of good, of generosity, of wisdom, of truth, of integrity, and commitment to all that benefits life. Strengthen that core for you so that you can discern and not get swept away by false voices, voices that are not of the light. Blessings.